Now, switching gears, and I think you had mentioned it earlier at the beginning of the podcast, you've done some teaching and are a teacher. How did you get involved with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I went to college at Westchester University and had got my degree in health and physical education, and it was and like I said, I first started before I got into full-time wrestling. I taught for about 3 years before I got my opportunity, and it was great. I taught at that point I had taught like elementary, middle, and then got to wrestle. But then after I got done wrestling full time and training people full time, I came back and started went back to the teaching world, and I took a health and physical education position. And one of the things I was really lucky was that I was given special needs classes, which was awesome uh, because I mean it was as really a chance for me to do something different with adaptive physical education, and also work with kids that I've always had a soft spot in my heart for, because there was varying levels of disabilities, anything from just light on the autism spectrum, Asperger's, what they sometimes call it, but to severely, or more severely, handicapped, and disabilities that were real, tough, and profound. So it was great being able to work with them, and I really liked that. I really enjoyed um, their energy, and just there's just something there's just something about working with them that makes you feel that much better, um, because I'm not saying you see things from their perspective or their eyes, but you just, I don't know, it kind of puts things into perspective for you, because sometimes you get all upset and angry about things that are going around you, and then sometimes I just say to myself, I just want to look at it from their perspective sometimes, because even though they have bad days too, and but like sometimes, like when they're smiling, they're really smiling, and when they're really enjoying things, you see that they're enjoying it with their whole heart, and I love that. I just love that.
When you told me earlier, about your stories getting bullied in school, it's almost like when you see somebody else going through a hard time, it's kind of like a full circle moment because you remember when you were that young and now you're helping somebody else. I mean, it just goes a long way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just feel like teaching called to me. It's funny because when I was growing up, I was a lifeguard on the beach patrol from the age of like 15, and I just loved it. The beach was awesome. I was a lifeguard. It was great. You're in the sun. You're getting paid for it to be on the beach, and you're saving lives. I loved it. I mean, I loved going on rescues and saving people, and just knowing that I was, you know, uh, being a regular Baywatch type of guy back then. But but no, I mean, it was pretty awesome. But I thought at the time when I was a kid, though, I was like, how could I work this gig so I could do this every summer, and teaching was the way to do it. I mean, I had teachers in the family. My mom's a teacher, and she had her summers off, so I was like, well, if I teach, I could still lifeguard. But it ended up that I ended up you know once I got into it more and learning more about teaching and how it affects kids and how you could really be a positive role model, and you could really have uh, a profound effect on a kid's life. It's that was really cool to me, and I really, of course, I always really looked out for the little guys and girls that were out there to make sure that they're taken care of. But and I always tried to put a little bit more extra effort into the ones that were a little bit more shy and timid, um, and let them know also that you might not always feel this way, and something might change in you as time goes on. You might find your confidence, you might find yourself, and because then I tell them, hey, that was me. I was you when I was that age, and I'm not that way anymore. So just go for it, and you'll be okay. Just.
It's those those little things, you know, giving them that guidance because they need it. That, you know, we all need help. We all need uh, that little bit of advice that empowers us to be better. And so, you making a difference in their life, it's all the more rewarding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also, sometimes you might be that only person that does say that to them, that does believe in them. You don't know what kind of home life they come from. You don't know what kind of struggles they have. You don't know how they feel about themselves all the time. And it doesn't hurt anyone to be nice. And I think that sometimes that could go a long way. And so yeah, so I just think that, I not to sound corny, but you sometimes you want to be that light for someone because that might be the only light that they have. So but yeah, absolutely.
Have you been able to reconnect with some of your former students, or have anyone recognized you from your days in the ring?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. um I've I mean, obviously I started teaching a long time ago, but before I got into WWE, so obviously that's a long time. So that's actually funny. Like now, it's like years have gone by, and some kids have reached out to me on social media saying, "Hey, I hope everything's going well. I just want to let you know what I'm doing now." And I think it's so cool that you became a wrestler. It's especially some of the ones that before I made it to the WWE and got and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you actually made it," and that's so cool. And really happy for you. You're always talking about how you wanted to do it. So that's cool. And then, I around town now, I mean, I still, I go wherever I go. It's like, whether it's a grocery store or just out somewhere shopping, or on the beach, it's, kids are always coming up to me. Hey, Tank, Mr. Tank, what's up? How's it going? So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're around these kids and they look up to you, it has to feel really good that you've instilled that confidence and you've encouraged them.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to hope that I have, had a good effect, a positive effect on my students because I there's ones that I've liked more than others, I'm not gonna lie. And ones that I felt like I had to reach out to a little bit more to try and pull them in and say, hey, let's pull it together because this isn't all that life is right now. You got a whole other world out there, a whole other life out there. So because I taught mainly in an inner city, and a lot of kids can't see past the end of their block. They don't understand that that block, that town is not the whole world. That there's a whole other life out there for you, and that you shouldn't live in a small fishbowl. Try and extend yourself out, that push yourself to be a little uncomfortable and take chances, positive risks that can help you move forward in life. So yeah,
Yeah, it's very inspiring. You know, you want to push them in that right direction because it is a hard world out there. But if you believe in yourself, you can do anything, just like you
absolutely.
did.
Yeah, no, and that's something I always tell them. I was like, I'm not, and a lot of them that would like if they didn't know me or know my story when I first went back to teaching, so especially some of the younger kids that maybe they didn't watch wrestling or didn't know about wrestling, I'd tell them a story, about a little kid that would get bullied and stuff, and didn't feel like he had his voice and his power. And I tell that story about basically myself, and then how this person ended up getting more confidence as time went on, and then went on to believe more in himself and more in himself, and then achieved his dreams. And then at the end, obviously, I say that guy's me. So and they thought that was pretty cool. And I just says, and I say, so what I'm trying to tell you is that I was sitting in your chair. I was that scared little person that wasn't sure what to do with themselves, and was nervous about things and scared to speak up. I said, but that doesn't always have to be you. And I said, just believe in yourself, and if you love something enough and you want to chase it, you just do it. You just don't give up on it.